It's become common in recent years for popular singers from Taylor Swift to Beyonce to make concert films that feature them singing to their fans and or the behind the scenes involved in putting these elaborate shows together. For the moment, Charli XCX has taken a different approach by crafting a metafictional narrative about her preparing for her concert and a lot of things that could go wrong. In fact, there's barely any concert footage. For those unfamiliar with her work, this does not delve that much into her, and her storyline is not even the most compelling in the movie. The directing style can also be bothersome at times, which occasionally distracts from the intent. The movie's comedy style appears to be a freewheeling, improvisational kind, although the humor tends to be sporadic. Only a few laughs occur throughout the runtime, with most of them belonging to Alexander Skarsgård as Charli's documentary director. There's also an amusing cameo from Rachel Sennett as an over-exaggerated version of herself, but beyond those moments, a lot of the humor underwhelms. The storyline with Skarsgård ends up being more compelling than Charli's as we see him try to insert himself into the creative process and we see the effects of someone trying to give input when it's not wanted. For those coming in as largely an outsider to Charli XCX, they won't learn too much about her and what drives her creative choices. There's a theme here about the loneliness of fame even when a celebrity is surrounded by assistants and managers and the constant pressure someone is under when they're thrust into the spotlight. However, the film does not dive as deep into this as one hopes, and there are a number of meandering moments, like when Charli goes to a spa. A particularly bothersome filmmaking decision is the editing style. The film immediately pummels you with flashing lights, and when we cut to a new location, the on-screen titles flash on the screen in a way that one assumes is meant to be disorienting, but is instead annoying. The constant flashing lights appear in several scenes throughout the movie, so it's a shame consideration was not given to Charli's fans who might be epileptic and thus won't be able to see her movie. The camera also tends to shake quite a bit, which is clearly trying to emulate an actual documentary and go with the general disorienting vibe of the film, especially when a bunch of people are clamming around Charli. However, the movie overdoes this at times, which was a tad much. The Moment is an inspired idea to not just give people the typical musician documentary or concert film. There was a lot of thought put into the fictional narrative created for this film, and it does admittedly get a little better after a rough first act. However, Charli XCX's arc is one that gets lost in the shuffle of a lot of what's going on, and only a few sporadic laughs appear. The filmmaking approach taken by music video director Aiden Zamiri also tends to distract more than pull one further into the film, but it's certainly possible fans will be more in on the joke and excite the opportunity at seeing their favorite singer in this light.